Hello Internet, and welcome to what will be the last Nugget Bridge Major live game. Maybe in the future we'll do something else if you can bear this, webcam, but, this will be the last from the, Major at least, because, I can't talk cut after this, unfortunately, but we're playing this last round for pride, I suppose. I was tempted to use the, that old Parasect team, just, to give it a little bit of a whirl on the actual DS itself, but I guess I didn't. Well, I haven't even got it on this game. It's on my X version at the moment, so I'll need to trade it over at some point. But last round of the Nugget Bridge Major, and we've got a fairly standard-looking team, unless it's got some big surprises. This game should be. Well, I say it should be straightforward. I mean, you never really know with Pokemon, do you? But obviously not underestimating anyone here. I don't mean that by I mean should be straightforward. I mean the Pokemon that he's using are pretty straightforward. But we've got the old Gengar and Kangaskhan and Talonflame, Terrakion, Heatran, Sylveon. It's as standard as it can get really. 2 fire types because I guess he wants to. I don't know, scare my Scizor away from his Sylveon. So how am I going to go about playing this? I mean, I don't know. Is he really going to bring his Terrakion? I'm not sure. He might. You see, I don't really appreciate playing against Gengar. It's not that my team is weak to it. It's just that I don't really appreciate it. I'm going to lead with Terrakion and Thundurus. I am going to take Scizor in the back. And I think my last one should be, I'm torn between either Breloom or Cresselia, basically. But I think for this game, we're going to go with Breloom, just because it adds a little bit more pressure onto the Kangaskhan. And there's the Sash and everything as well. So, let's see how it plays out. Who knows how it's going to play out? No one. That's the answer to that question. Okay, here we go then. So, Talonflame and Gengar. So, I've got a nice lead here, really. I mean, I can taunt the Gengar, although that won't stop it from Icy Winding. The Talonflame might just suicide itself and go for a Tailwind, or it could Protect. So, there's a whole host of things that could happen here. But, I mean, obviously the safe, I say safe, simple, straightforward move would to just be Rock Slide and Thunderbolt the Gengar. But what's the worst thing that can happen, really? I doubt this is a Trick Room Gengar with a very cleverly masked Trick Room team. You are, Shad. The amount of times I say that, and it turns out to be the case. Talonflame, I'm expecting it to just go for either a Tailwind or a Protect, or a Switch Out or whatever. So, I don't know, really. Alternatively, I could go for a Substitute. Although he has got Sylveon in the back, and substituting isn't really, doesn't really get me anything when Sylveon is the threat to Terrakion, because obviously you get the substitute up to take the hit from the threat. But I'm just going to Rock Slide here, and the question is, do I taunt Thunderwave or Thunderbolt the Gengar? I'm not really fearing a taunt or a Will-O-Wisp from the Gengar. I'm just going to go for a straight knockout. I'm just going to do the simple moves. I don't know... okay, so there's the Protect. I don't know who my opponent is, really. I've never played him before, to my knowledge. I don't really know what he's got up his sleeve, but... okay, so he has got Icy Wind. So, that was probably the worst thing that he could do. Does a good chunk to Thundurus, but obviously the problem is the speed drops. Hopefully this Rock Slide does hit the Gengar, yeah, which it does. So at least on turn 1, at least we're down, or he's down. One Pokemon. The only kind of sort of iffy thing about going for Icy Winds and Tailwinds and stuff like that when your opponent's got a Thundurus on the field like I do is I can just Thunder Wave you. So it doesn't matter how many speed drops, unless you get 5-6 speed drops. I can just Thunder Wave you and I'm still going to be faster. So. Let's see, is he going to bring his Kangaskhan in now? Is he going to threaten me with a low kick? Oh no, he's got Heatran. So he's going to threaten my Terrakion with either a Flash Cannon or a Earth Power. Now, Talonflame, these two I've got in here, Terrakion and Thundurus, are really the only things that I've got for this Talonflame. Scizor in the back doesn't really want anything to do with this. You would have thought he would have brought the Sylveon, and that's probably like tucked away in the back. But I don't know. You never know. He can... Well, he can go for... well, he can knock either one of these Pokemon out, I think. I did bring Brillium in the back, didn't I? Yeah, I did. See, I'm kind of half tempted to switch that in, but I don't want the Heatran to go for a substitute or anything like that. So I could taunt it, but then, you know, obviously if he just goes for an attack, which he probably is going to do, then I'm not really getting anything from Thundurus this turn. So I'm not too sure which one is the bigger threat for him. I think he's more likely to target Thundurus here, honestly. But I don't know. I have got Brillium in the back. If Brillium's faster than Heatran, then, you know, I'm quite comfortable letting Terrakion go down and getting a Thunderbolt onto Talonflame. So I'm just actually going to close combat this Heatran and just go for a Thunderbolt onto Talonflame. And oh, okay. So he's using Tailwind as well. So he's going for ultimate speed control mode here. And he's going for a Heat Wave, so he was probably, you know, predicting a switch out. Ooh, Thundurus does hang on, that's good. Yeah, nice. So he was probably predicting me to feel, you know, pretty threatened that turn, and to try and switch around and protect around and play around with things like that. Hopefully, yeah, there's no Sash, which there isn't. So Talonflame goes down, and, you know, if this isn't a Chopper Berry Heatran, which it is, then it's going down. But it's got a Chopper Berry, so that's fair enough. Yeah, so with a Chopper Berry it would have gone down. But it is in Mach Punch range now, which is, you know, it's nice because, you know, Chopper Berry Heatran could be maybe a little bit more of a problem for my team, but I have got two fighting types on here, so I can close combat it and Mach Punch it and, you know, basically eat up these Chopper Berries. Now, Terrakion is obviously really important here, so I do want to save that. He didn't bring his Sylveon, which is quite interesting. Terrakion isn't in Sucker Punch range, even if it isn't -1 as well. So I'm just going to protect with Terrakion. Honestly, I'm expecting him to just go for a Fake Out and Heat Wave onto Thundurus this turn, but just in case he doesn't do that, I'm just going to go for a Thunder Wave onto Kangaskhan. So, I mean, he could protect his Kangaskhan and just go for a Heat Wave as well. But I'm just sort of juggling around these Tailwind turns now, I guess. Okay, there's the Fake Out. Yeah, obviously onto the Thundurus. And, oh wait, okay, so that knocks it out itself. And Heat Wave. Earth Power, okay. Not that it really mattered what he went for that turn. But, I'm going to bring Brillium in. Just because Scizor is, you know, while the Heatran's around, it's not really doing anything. And basically, I can go for a Mach Punch on the Heatran. If he protects with the Heatran that turn, he has to target my Terrakion with his Kangaskhan, else it's getting knocked out by a close combat. If he protects and he targets the Brillium, then he's losing his Kangaskhan, and this is the second turn of Tailwind, I think, isn't it? Yeah, because he went for the Fake Out turn. Yeah, and I can just protect with Terrakion and do that basically. So I'm just gonna, you know, play it really obviously actually, and just go for a Mach Punch in the close combat. Okay, so he doesn't even protect the Heatran, and yeah, that should knock it out, which it does do. And a close combat should finish off this. Well, I mean, I say it should, but you never know. It could be a particularly bulky Kangaskhan. See, this is good information for a best of 3 as well, because if this Kangaskhan survives, then I'll know that it is more on the bulky side. If it does knock it out, which it doesn't, if it did knock it out there in 1, I wouldn't have even shown my 4th Pokemon, so he wouldn't have known what my 4th Pokemon was, which is really a nice sort of advantage to have in a best of 3, because he wouldn't have known that I brought my Scizor here. But you know, he should forfeit the game, because there's no chance of him winning this game. He should forfeit, you know, instead of showing, I'm even going to Mega Evolve, instead of you know, showing potential Sucker Punch damage on Scizor here or whatever, or just on Terrakion, whatever. So this, you know, might even knock it out, but I just didn't Mega Evolve because there's no point. A Bullet Punch is going to knock it out. He couldn't knock my Scizor out either way, with any sort of priority Mega Critical hit Sucker Punches, so it just wastes time to Mega Evolve, and I like having time. So that was game 1. Let's see how he adjusts into game 2. You know, again, apologies to my opponent. I've never played him before. I don't know, you know, how experienced he is in VGC. I mean, he's obviously, you know, he's got the same record that I have in the Nugget Bridge Major at the moment, which, you know, means he's obviously competent, isn't he? Although, you know, honestly, my record is pretty bad. Well, I'll tell you what happened at the end of this, but whatever. Yep, next battle. And the team. So I'm expecting he will bring the Sylveon this turn. Although we did see that I brought the Scizor at the end there. But still, he has got the Heatran, he has got the Talonflame. So he's probably not going to lead the same. He won't lead with the Gengar and Talonflame this game, because my Terrakion and Thundurus lead just shut that down, you know, completely last game. You know, again, interesting. Like I said in the last video, the talk that I did on, you know, knowing your team style and everything. When I mentioned how Cybertron plays the team, I noticed he leads with Liepard and Breloom a lot, which I find really interesting because I don't really lead those two very much anymore. So I'll switch things up. Like, you know, it's quite funny. Like if you're on Showdown or something and someone's using my team, if they lead with Liepard and Breloom, then, you know, it's probably not me. So I don't know. It's quite amusing. But how's he going to mix things up then? He might. See, I think he will want to lead with some kind of speed control. I think he will probably go with the Talonflame again, but instead he might go with Sylveon. He might go with Kangaskhan. He might go with his own Terrakion. I am going to lead with Thundurus again, but I think I'm actually going to go with Breloom this time. I'm going to go Breloom, Thundurus. I do want Terrakion in the back again, and I do want Scizor in the back again. So I'm going with the same 4 Pokemon, but in a slightly different order this time. So I don't want to see the Gengar leading here, but you know, if it does, it does. It wouldn't be the worst of you know, of situations really, but I just wouldn't appreciate an icy wind, I suppose. Okay. So Kangaskhan and Sylveon. Okay, so he did. You know, I suppose he had to lead change things up, but he didn't even lead with the thingy this turn, the Talonflame. The Sylveon. I don't know how this is going to play out. See, if I protect with Breloom and bring Scizor in, which is what I'm tempted to do, then it is. The Scizor is still potentially taking Fake Out damage and Hyper Voice damage, and it hasn't even Mega Evolved yet. And that's, you know, it could you know, could get up to basically like, you know, 40% or something. It could be taking a good chunk if I do that. So that's why I'm hesitating making that play. I mean, he does have Fake Out. We know he's got Fake Out. You would I would expect him to Fake Out the Thundurus. Expecting my Breloom to protect, but he could just Fake Out the Breloom. So I could try and sort of call his bluff and just go straight for a Spore somewhere, but I don't know. Am I thinking too much into it? Probably, but you know, it's never a bad thing to think, is it? So, you know, let's actually make some moves then. What we're gonna do? Because if I do bring the Scizor in, then the Kangaskhan is still, you know, actually threatening a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to protect with Breloom, and I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt onto Sylveon. Now this might seem strange, but if he does just go for the Fake Out and Hyper Voice, then my Thundurus should survive this. But if he doesn't do that, if he goes for a Fake Out onto Breloom, then I'm getting a little bit of damage off onto Sylveon, and that damage is important because it puts it into Bullet Punch range without any boosts from Scizor. So, okay, so we did go straight for the safe Fake Out onto Breloom, and there's a nice little bit of damage onto the Sylveon, which doesn't look like much, but, you know, it is important because Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Pretty sure that's specs. But yeah, it means it's in bullet punch range, as I've just said. But you know, I can't bring Tracheon in because obviously a Hyper Voice is coming its way, and Breloom is threatened with a return now, basically. So I think this is the turn that I've got to bring Scizor in, I guess. I mean, I'm going to be taking even more damage, so maybe I should have just done this last turn. Like he's got to go for a return on Breloom, and let's just like there's not really much point in Thunder waving this Kangaskhan. I could Thunderbolt it, put it into close combat range, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm just going to Thunderbolt this Kangaskhan, because we saw that the close combat didn't one-shot it last turn. Thunder Rush is going to be going down here. Scizor is actually going to be taking a lot of damage here. I'm not sure I played this correctly, that last turn, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, we had to go for the return onto the Scizor. It should still take, you know, a good chunk. That's 40%, like just like that. And a Hyper Voice is going to do a lot of damage to this Scizor as well. So, yeah, ouch. That's put Scizor in Sucker Punch range, which is bad. So maybe I should have even just gone for the Thunder Wave on Kangaskhan so that I could get this Bullet Punch off. So that was a bit of an oversight on my behalf, and I'm in actually a really bad position now, because he can just Sucker Punch my Scizor, and if Scizor goes for a Swords Dance or whatever, then it's going to get knocked out by a Hyper Voice. So I could bring Breloom in, and that way he's forced to either return the Breloom or Sucker Punch the Scizor. I think I've got to do that, really. So here's Breloom, and I'm on the back foot. This has not gone well for me. So you know, I'm expecting to go into a game 3. So this was a bit of a careless game 2, I suppose. But you know, let's play this out. Let's see if we can get any more information, and you know, we might still be able to turn this around. You never know, because I think his priority is to go for a Sucker Punch onto Scizor. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve and Protect here, and I'm going to go for a Spore onto Kangaskhan. If he does go for a return straight onto Breloom here, then I've lost the game just like that. So this could potentially be a really quick game too, but you know, whatever. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know. If I was him, you would think you've got to Sucker Punch the Scizor, wouldn't you? He did show Sucker Punch in that last game, which he really didn't have to. Yeah, not every Kangaskhan. Oh, okay, or he can do that. Not every Kangaskhan. Okay. If this has got Lumberry, then that worked out quite nicely for him as well. Oh, okay. I'm expecting... oh, this tracker might have Quick Guard. I'm expecting it to have a Lumberry the way he brought it in as well. But let's see how it goes. At least we're seeing all 4 of his Pokemon as well. Okay, so this is... you know, you would expect a Lumberry, wouldn't you? And yeah, it does. Okay, so Breloom has still got its Sash intact, but Breloom is really needed to you know, spore this Heatran really. So, ooh, this is tough now because I lost my my other option, and my Terrakion in the back really doesn't want to take a close combat either, which is probably going to go you know, Scizor's way, to be honest. So what can we do here? Oops. We can... I mean, I could just Bullet Punch the Terrakion, but I think I don't know. I might have to go for a Swords Dance, maybe. Because if he targets the Breloom with the close combat, then I can hopefully put this Heatran to sleep, and because we know it is Chopper Berry, and a +2 Bullet Punch will actually threaten this Terrakion. If he does go straight for the close combat onto Scizor, then maybe I would be wishing that I went for the Bullet Punch on Terrakion instead. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight for the Bullet Punch, because I did put Sylveon into Bullet Punch range, so there isn't really any need to go for any boosts like that. No Quick Guard, but there wasn't really any need for him to Quick Guard. Oh, it's Rock Sliding, and Breloom avoided it. So this probably will knock Scizor out. Oh, it doesn't! Wow! And Breloom is faster than Heatran. So, I suppose, I mean, he wasn't, like, in the grand scheme of the game, he's in a good position, because, he's got 4 left, and I've got 3, and one of them 3 is on 3 HP. But he had to either close combat one of those, I think, this turn. But if, Breloom's got the Sash, and it turns out Breloom does outspeed this Heatran, so I got that Spore off. So, I'm not in the worst of positions, to be honest. Is Terrakion going to protect here, though? That is the question. Do I need to make some plays to try and get back into this? Because I could Swords Dance here, but, again, like I was saying, I don't really need to. So, I mean, if I Bullet Punch and Mach Punch, then, that's a dead turn, and he goes for Quick Guard, obviously, that's what I'm trying to say. But I am just going to go straight for a Bullet Punch, and I'm going to go for a Mach Punch onto Heatran as well. I want to get rid of this Chopper Berry. Hopefully he won't wake up. There is no Quick Guard. If he wakes up, then again the game's over. So there's been a few turns in this game so far where if, something has happened, then they would have lost the game just like that. But, fingers crossed. There's a 2 in 3 chance that the Heatran does stay asleep. And it stays asleep. Okay, so the odds were slightly in my favour. I needed that. The Kangaskhan is, I'm sure, going to come back in to threaten with the Fake Out here. Yeah. Breloom has still got its Sash intact, which is really important. Scizor is really important as well, though, because he's got the Sylveon in the back. So I'm actually going to bring Scizor out for Terrakion, and I'm just going to Protect with Breloom this turn. He is probably going to predict around this, because I went straight for a Protect with Breloom in the face of a Fake Out last game. But Terrakion doesn't really mind taking a Heat Wave and a Fake Out. Okay, so he does go straight for the thingy, and he goes for the thingy as well. So, from a game that seemed pretty dire, I'm actually in a pretty good position now, because I can just close combat this Kangaskhan. So that Thunderbolt damage on Kangaskhan earlier on actually did come into play, because afterwards I said, I should have Thunder Waved it, and that was an oversight because of the Sucker Punch on the Scizor and everything. But this damage is actually coming into play now, because I can close combat it. I know it will knock the Kangaskhan out, and I know that Breloom outspeeds Heatran, and I can Spore it. So basically, I can close combat Spore. If he protects with Heatran and switches Sylveon in, then I can close combat the Heatran next turn and Spore the Sylveon. And unless he has got Sleep Talk, I think I've won the game. So that's me, running through all of the possibilities in my head here. I have, again, that Mach Punch to waste the Chopper Berry on the Heatran was really important as well. So, and again, that Thunderbolt damage onto the Sylveon for the Bullet Punch damage. So, I suppose this is a nice, display, exhibition, whatever, of setting up your end game and setting up how you're going to win the game. Now, I do sound very optimistic and everything now, where a few turns ago I was thinking this is a lost game, and I think he probably could have played it a bit better to try and choke out this game, a bit better for him, a bit more convincingly for him. But I'm in this position now, and it turns out that okay, so we're just letting his Pokemon go down. It turns out that these things that I did have in my mind earlier in the game, like this little chip damage, it is actually coming into play now, which is it's lovely. And the Spore on the Heatran. So Heatran's asleep, which obviously it could wake up next turn. Again, thinking back, if he did go for that return on the Breloom that turn back then he could have won the game just then. If the Heatran woke up, the turn before last, then he could have won the game as well. So by no means is this an easy win or anything like that. But I'm just going to go for safe moves here. I'm going to go for a close combat onto Heatran. He doesn't even try and wake up and protect here. Like, the only way he really could have tried to win this game is if he woke up with Heatran there and got a protect off. And then, maybe if I was putting him to sleep with a sleep talk, he could hyper voice his way to victory. But even then, I suppose I've got Scizor in the back. I'm not even messing around here. I'm just going straight for the Bullet Seed because I know that Brillium has still got its sash intact, and he could still have hyper voice. I keep saying hyper voice. He could still have sleep talk, and that would mess things up as well. So thinking of the options. As it turns out, these two games were fairly comfortable, I guess. But no disrespect to my opponent at all. He played quite well. He made some decent moves. But I think if he was going to watch this back himself, I think he would probably play it a little bit differently as well on his own little reflections. But there we go. No. But that's the end of the Nugget Bridge Major for me, really. This Major hasn't gone very well for me, to be honest. I had a final record of 6 wins and 3 losses. Honestly, the start of this tournament for me was pretty horrendous. My first game was against Rashawn, Firestorm, fellow Nugget Bridger. And he ran his Trick Room team, and I did actually feel pretty comfortable in those games, and I can't even remember if I've got them saved or anything, but I'm sure there was something that made me think I really should have won them. I think he obviously not taking anything away from him. I think I did get a little bit unlucky on a couple of turns, and maybe I made a few bad moves as well. But Trick Room can be a little bit of a pain for this team. So I lost that game, which is fair enough. I lost a third round game as well to some person I haven't seen his name before. I don't know who he is, and it's one of the funniest games I've ever had, and I suppose one of the most humbling, one of the most it's an honor really to have it done to me. This guy absolutely counter-teamed me. Like, he used an obviously hacked shiny Aegislash with hidden power hidden power fire for my Scizor and a Colbur Berry so that my knockoff couldn't knock it out. He had quick attack on his Sylveon to obviously take my Brillium down from its sash. He had Mental Herb on an Infernape so that I couldn't encore it. You see where this is going. I'm sure there were other things as well, but it was quite amusing, I suppose, to be counter-teamed so hard. But that's something that happens in tournaments like this, where you can know who your opponent is and try and prepare for teams that they might like to use. So I suppose it's fair enough for him to do that, although it was a little bit dirty, I suppose. But that's that. And you saw the other loss just last week against Marcus, which again don't feel bad about it at all, because he is a very good player, and I think those games were winnable as well. So especially I've watched them back a couple of times, and Cresselia was dead weight there. I could have utilized something else a lot better, but that's Pokemon, isn't it? Every game's different. It's a wonderful game in a way. That's why we keep playing it. But as I keep waffling on again, I'm rambling on. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you've got better things to do, so so I'll let you go. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. If you do want me to do something else with this camera, then let me know. There are there are options. Battle Spot does exist, but I don't have a caption card, as I'd have to keep sort of explaining to people. So it would obviously be this quality, and it doesn't look the best really. It doesn't really compare to other people with capture cards. So let me know what you think about that. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, if you've appreciated it, then give me a like and a share and everything, and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. But thanks for watching this, guys, and goodbye for now.